Hello and welcome to the People Chronicles Storied Women. My name is Anna Rose Ingarra-Milch and I am your host. I am also the author of Lunch with Lucille. Lunch with Lucille is a story of how one woman's life impacted another woman. And here on Storied Women, we bring women from our community to share their story so we can learn from them as well. And today, my very special guest is Josephina Encarnacion. Josephina Encarnacion.
Yes.
Okay, I got that right?
Yes.
So Josie, okay, so I welcome you very much. I appreciate you coming in today.
Thank you for having me here.
Because I know that you came from you came all the way back from a holiday, so to speak, in Mexico, just to be here, right? Isn't that right?
Yes.
See?
Absolutely.
Okay, so and I'm sure while you were on the plane, you were thinking, well, what is she going to ask me? Okay, so the first question that I'm going to ask you is, what is it that you want our viewers to take away from our little chat today? What's the takeaway, the lesson learned?
Well, I have this belief that you are your thoughts, you are what you think, and that your emotions are very important to understand where you are in life and to be able to manifest those things that you really want in your life that are positive for you. That's what I believe.
So it's kind of like that, the law of attraction. So that's how you think is what you will. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I think that's so. So tell me, how has that affected your life? How is it?
Well, I think that we come, especially your beliefs. Your beliefs are very important because that tells you how you think, and your beliefs are formed by many different things. It's your culture, it's your family. Where you live, your government, your education. Those are the things that form the patterns of your thoughts, and those create your habits, how you're going to live your life.
Very true.
So it came to a point in my life, and I was experiencing this since I was 8 years old, where I was questioning everything. I'm questioning, why do I have to go to church? Why can't I just feel God in a different way?
When you're questioning, are you questioning your mom, or are you just questioning your
myself?
Head? You're questioning
I'm questioning
yourself.
myself, and because I was a very aware of myself since I was very little, but I wasn't able to express who I am because it could have turned out to be something disrespectful. You know, you're in a culture where religion is valued, so you just have to go with the way of life, and yet you're feeling like there's something inside of you telling you that's not it. You must find another way. You must find another way. And when you grow up like that, you tend to go into those emotions where you're not up here with joy. You're down here feeling uncomfortable. It could be depression. It could be sadness. And you grow up like that, thinking that there's something wrong with you and everybody else is okay, you know. And it comes to a point in your life that when you separate from all of that, then you start even questioning yourself a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And then it turns out to be that you are okay, you know. But there's something inside of you, which is your inner being, telling you there's ways for you to become everything that you came to be in this earth. So what are you going to do about it? How are you going to show up to the world? And yet you still have those beliefs that you should do this. You go to school, get an education, get married, to your family, right? And then you go from there and you still feel this emptiness inside of you. And you're telling yourself, this is not it. There's something more about life that has nothing to do with the systems that I was growing up with. And it comes to a point where you go through different stages in life where your emotions are telling you where you are. So I had different contrasts in my life. At 28, I felt like I can't do the religion anymore. I have to see God, a God of love, and I have to see it beyond God. I have to embrace the universe. And that's when I went into some sort of a state of depression. And then from there was like, I found people that were open-minded and they thought like I did. And that helped me understand, well, there is something else out there and I'm not that out of my mind or crazy.
Yeah, right. Just because I question or there's nothing wrong with me for questioning.
Yeah. So I went through this journey of kind of like finding more spiritual leaders, finding what other people are thinking about God, the universe. Then that's when I realized, oh, well, let me embrace that we are energy. Let me embrace the fact that my inner being is always happy, but I got to deal with my ego, which is the one that's telling me things that I should fear or the things that I should be looking at from a negative perspective. And that's when my journey, and that's when I came like more in tune of becoming more aware of the way I feel. So my feelings tells me like if I'm up there in the vibrating point or if I'm down here where I'm, feeling the fear. But then when you become aware is where you're saying, what do I do with it? Do I just, not pay attention and go back to thoughts that, that really doesn't serve me, or do I change my pattern of thinking so I can feel better?
So how does this affect the people around you? So if you're, if you're taking this different life course than your sister, than your mother, than your brothers, and your whole family, because I know you come from a large family.
Yes.
So if you're taking a different life course, how does that affect all the relationships that are going on around you?
It does affect the relationships because when you become aware of your emotions, you're going to try to do everything that you can to be in a state of happiness or joy. So some people, by law of attraction and repelling, are just gonna move out of your own universe, and others will come because if you can only attract the way you feel. And if you're feeling here and somebody comes in and they're over here, then you're gonna repel that person because that person is not here with you. And it hurts. It hurts because the only thing you want to give is love, but it's going to be more of a detached love. You can't be around me. I still love you, but I'm all the way up here trying to better myself as a human being, embracing everything that I am, embracing everything that the universe allows me to give to this world. And I'm gonna embrace that in everything that I do. And if you're and if the person that comes in and doesn't see that because they're still in the mind frame of, I do this because my priest says so. I do this because my government says so. I do this because, but you're in charge of your own evolution. No one else is. So when you get to this point, you're gonna repel people, but then the other people are gonna appear. The people that are supposed to be with you.
Yeah. So you start to attract. Those people of like mind or like feelings. Not even so much of like mind, but just of like souls, so to speak.
Souls.
Like souls. Yeah.
So some people ask, well, how do you get to this point where you're feeling joy? How do you get to this point where you're went through a really bad contrast not too long ago, and here you are, happy and vibrant, and it's the habit. You create a habit of being aware of what you're feeling and then trying to soothe yourself by doing things that are good for you. So I exercise, I do yoga, I meditate.
You dance.
I dance. I journal. I plan my day. I do all the things that I know that are going to make me feel good.
And this is all relatively new, a new
Yes.
way of living.
It's a new way of living. I've been embracing spirituality, law of attraction since 2012.
Okay, so that's 6 years.
Yeah, so 6 years. But the awakening to awake to who you are, it's a long process. It's not like, oh, I'm awake, I know what I'm doing now. It doesn't work that way. It's a process of learning and discovering,
Yes.
and allowing yourself to be open-minded and to look at everybody's belief as their own system of becoming as well. You know, because if religion didn't work for me, it doesn't mean that it doesn't work for another person.
Sure.
It's just that I have another way of seeing life and fitting life, not only for myself, but to be able to give others who I am and become of service. So to me, is changing your patterns of belief and creating routines that are going to allow you to show up, to show the world who you are.
Yeah, and it's so stepping out of that comfort zone.
Yes.
And I know, and so just recently, I think you jumped out of your comfort zone and did what, and so you kind of just jumped on a plane and just.
I did. I was going through a moment of what I called a broken heart. Let's put it that way. And I felt this tremendous pain, you know, and I'm like, well, what do I do with this pain? How do I handle this? Should I numb it or should I just feel it? And I'm like, well, you know what? Jesus Christ did not say, just put me on the cross, just crucify me. He went through the pain and he embraced every single moment of it. So I'm like, if he can do it and we're, you know, created as his image, why should I numb it? Let me just feel it. Let me feel every single part of it, because out of the contrast, expansion has to come. You know, a change for the better has to come. And I said, let me go to a place where I can feel the pain and at the same time I can heal. And I went to Mérida, Yucatan, Mexico. And that was
Having been there before.
Never been there before. It was just a leap
All
of
by
faith.
yourself.
All by myself, embracing who I am. And you know what? When I came back, it was like, thank you. I mean, thank you for the contrast. Thank you for the pain. Thank you for letting me feel it like I'm supposed to feel it. And now I can do something great about it.
And I'm so glad you came in here to share that with us. This is just wonderful. I mean, I think because you're really, I think it's really important that, you know, that you remind us, you know, that our thoughts and our emotions do play a role of what we attract, you know, and, you know, going always to that, you know, and what we believe is how we behave, you know.
Yes.
And to know that, you know, so if we believe in good, if we if we think good of ourselves, that's exactly how we're going to behave.
Exactly.
And in essence, it makes life a hell of a lot easier.
Absolutely.
It really does.
You feel very light.
Yes.
Like everything is not a problem. Everything is like, oh, there's a solution for it.
Exactly, yeah.
And you start looking at things as a challenge rather than a problem.
Yeah.
And when you start looking at life like that, like your goals, then you start putting goals as a challenge, and then you challenge yourself because you're a powerful human being.
Yeah.
You can achieve anything you want. It's your thoughts that either can make you or break you.
Exactly.
So you got to change the pattern of how you think about who you are, because when you change the patterns to see yourself as an empowered human being who came to give the best of who you are, then you're embracing who you are, and that allows you to give the best of who you are to other people.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's I think that's the greatest thing about being a human being.
It is.
Yeah.
Good thought. Thank you, Josie. I appreciate you coming in, and I think it's an important message that Josie gives us to remember that we have the power. We can do this. Each individual, we can do it. We follow our own path, but we can do this. And thank you so much for listening, and thanks for coming in, Josie.
Thank you.
Thank you for following Storied Women on the People Chronicles. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, The People Chronicles, and you won't miss any stories.
These stories are made possible in part by Spring Ridge Financial, Heidelberg Restaurant, Queen City Restaurant, and PJ Willahans.